Nothing we say is investment advice. Please pause on all 3 pages of this disclaimer and read it.
Morning, everybody. Nick Petrozello, 8:30 a.m. EST, and we are looking now at silver. Nice move up. Okay, nice move up. Silver bounced at 60 and moved all the way up to 75, sitting at 72. It's a very nice move. What is that? 12%? No, that's bigger than that. I think that's like 15%. Let's take a look. Now, this was I think it's an indication that price, at least for now, very clear. That's a 22% move, by the way. It's pretty clear that 60 is strong. Now, technically, this is a downtrend, so price could continue down. Like conceivably, price could do anything, but conceivably, it could actually continue down. It really depends on a lot of things, right? So we were talking with Ben Keller yesterday on Rogue, and he thinks that silver is finding its bottom, and it may well be, but we have a lower high and technically a lower low right there. So what we got to look out for from a very simple trend standpoint is whether or not price comes up, and it's got to break above this 99, basically 100 level in order to break this downtrend that it's in, because right now it's in a downtrend. If you get a lower high and then price makes a lower low, then that's definitely, you're continuing a downtrend, right? So the real question is whether or not the market will allow silver to break, I think, below 54. That's a key point here, right? Why is that important? I'll zoom out and I'll tell you. Let's delete these. By the way, like, subscribe, link in the description. There's a free algo. Go in the description. I got a free algo that I made a video. It's a very simple video. And it shows you how I build an algo, turn it into code, and I show you the tools traders use to connect their algo to their exchange so it could trade for them when they're not even sitting at the computer. Now, of course, you have to optimize the algo before you do that, but it's there. It's all there for you. So looking back through time on silver, if you look at the major moves that happened going back to 2025, you notice that price made a low in April of 25, and then it made this high right there at 54, went down to 45, and then made the major move up, right? So for it to come back down, this was a pretty strong move, and it pulled back to retest. There's never really, I think the prior high was like 30, and it didn't retest 30, but on the way up, there were plenty of retests on the way up, right? So, I'd say ideally a retest of 40 would have been seen. It happened in a very low time frame. You still get the retests, right? So the major move was right there. And physical silver is still being bought right now, according to the Gorilla. Despite the paper markets taking the tumble that they've taken, physical is still in demand in places like China and just across the board. So what's happening here is a paper market. And the reality is, at least what we're told, again by V, was that money was taken out of the paper metals markets to play oil, right? To play other markets and to hold up somewhat, apparently, the equities market. This is why we're seeing the tumble in precious metals. But this is a pretty strong little reaction right there. Remember, I had it possibly going sideways. I had it doing a few different things. If you watch the Monday video, I account for, hey, this might happen, that might happen, and we really don't know. That's kind of what the message was on Monday. Monday was very difficult to predict what precious metals might do. And the same kind of remains for now. Now, if I were to go, and I'm looking at gold now, I'll look at silver again in a minute. Look, I mean, metals are at a time when they could pull back, but how far would they? They're pulling back as we speak, but they could pull back further. The question is how far, right? How far will the market allow precious metals to pull back? Now, for gold on a very high time frame, I have 36.31 as a nice place for gold to bounce. On silver on this high of a time frame, again, I've got 54, and if it really, really, really falls, you're looking at about 30. I don't know that it's going to make it down there. I think 54 is realistic. I think 30 is tricky. In fact, I think it might be higher than that. I think a better look at that's like 35. That might be better, which is kind of funny because I think that was the gold per ounce deal. I think based on Bretton Woods, if I'm not mistaken. Either way, you might just see like high time frame, and it's very high time frame, a range build, right, and then another move up. But until any of that happens, it's gonna be very hard to tell. Like we're at a point where we got to see what the market wants to do with these. We got to wait and see, look at the smaller moves. But that's silver for now. I mean, it's hanging tough. It's hanging above 70, so that's at least a good sign that the market likes it. We have enough time for anything else? Yeah, we do. That was a pretty quick look. Let's take a look at the NASDAQ and just see how it's behaving. Okay, you know what? I think it's realistic to see the NASDAQ. This is the monthly, guys. You're looking at price going all the way back to like 2024, right? Each one of these candles is a month's worth of price action. Still very much in an uptrend. I wouldn't be surprised to see this come down here to 22,438. I heard it said somewhere, I don't know if he said it or somebody said it recently, where, oil doing what it's done so far because of the conflict in Iran, the lasting effects of oil headed up like that and the amount of time it's going to take to stabilize, that's going to last for months. It's going to go for a couple months at least. So, I've been saying, going back several weeks, I think I've been saying it for longer than that. I think at least a couple months, saying that the equities are vulnerable, right? Well, here it is. Now it's starting to fall. This very high time frame look. These things take months to play out. So I think we would reasonably see, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I think it's reasonable to see the NASDAQ, which is now at 24,440, to fall down, grab liquidity at 22,517, maybe in a repeat like we saw right here, where it just kind of tapped liquidity and then rocketed up. And I think what they're going to do is try to time that for the midterms. So we might see, the rates kind of stay the same for a month or two. And then you'll get a tap in that area. Some data will come out to keep it from falling further. And then the next FOMC, you might see a rate cut. Very possible. It's a very possible thing to see. It wouldn't be the first time. So very likely to see that in the NASDAQ. And of course, if I were to scroll down to the indices, SP 500, that same level would be about 61, 66. For the Dow, that same level would be basically right there at 45,300 roughly. Let's be a little more precise on that. Yeah, 45,250. I mean, it's kind of already done that for the Dow. And the Dow's been outperforming, so for it to crash harder would make a lot of sense. It's almost pretty much done that, but looking at the charts here, it wouldn't surprise me to see it just kind of pull one of these and then go like that. Now, we'll see, whether it even does any of this. That all remains to be seen. There's a lot can happen between now and, the midsummer when that might happen, or next couple months. So that said, I think we're going to move over to the private live lab. Thank you all for watching. Remember, we do this Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 8:30 a.m. EST. Yesterday, I started a little bit late. I was running over on a show with Joaquin Flores for Rogue. Amazing show. Either way, though, like, subscribe, free link in the description for a free algo. Just click that link, and I'll show you how I build an algo, turn it into code, tools the traders use, connect that to the broker so it can trade with them, not even being at the computer. Right? You have to optimize the algo for whatever you're trading before you actually do that. You want to know how to do that? Talk to us, algofactory.tech. We will show you how to trade like a hedge fund pro. Thank you all for watching, and we will see you tomorrow.
Join us or die.
Just